Someone somewhere always forgets one of these costs when they first start selling on Amazon, or when they're actually trying to figure out how much does it really cost to start selling a product on Amazon. Welcome to the channel. My name is Vic JC, and if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you smack that subscribe button. So by the end of this video, you're going to know what it actually costs to start selling on Amazon FBA in 2020. So all of these costs have been gathered by me, so you know the absolute truth on how much it costs to sell on Amazon based on all of the products that I've been selling across the USA and Europe. Now, there are two sections here that I want to go through you, and those are what you actually need and what is optional for you to get. So a lot of you might be running around on YouTube or on Google trying to find the answers for this, that, and the other, and how to actually get starting selling on Amazon. Do some product research, how to set up your listing, and make sure that you actually get a home run product. So for those people who are running around or trying to do all of this stuff on your own, if you want a much faster solution, the first thing that I am going to recommend is a course. It is an optional purchase, but I would strongly recommend that you do go ahead and get yourself some sort of course, something to follow that will help you to get started. Now, you can get courses that are around the $1,000 mark. I currently sell a course that's under the $1,000 mark. If you do want to go ahead and check that out, make sure you go to FBAstars.com and have a look at the offers I have on there right now. Why might it be important that you go ahead and get a course? Well, it speeds up your progress. You have everything there from the start to the finish, including templates and bits and bobs and loads of tips, and the experience is what you're paying for to speed up the process of you actually selling a product on Amazon. Education is what you need to get as fast as possible. It's the reason why you're here. Get the knowledge, the education, so you can actually get started off on the right foot. And that's why I would strongly recommend that you go ahead and get a course. If you don't want to do that, then make sure you absorb as much information as you can on YouTube, like videos like this one. So let's head over into the mandatory section, the parts that you actually need. So the first thing that you're actually going to need to invest in is a product research tool. So if we put product research, hopefully you can read my writing. You're going to need a product research tool. So how much does it actually cost to get a product research tool? Well, it can vary. There are a number of different tools out there. There are two tools that I'm actually going to recommend now. One of those is Jungle Scout, and there are two parts to Jungle Scout, which is what they used to call the web app, but it's just called Jungle Scout. It scans all of the products on Amazon and finds products for you. And then you also can get the Chrome extension with that too. So that will amount to around the $69 mark. Now, if you go ahead and use the link in the description, there are some discounts and free trials as well. So make sure you go and check that out. The second program that I would recommend is Helium 10. Now, the whole Helium 10 package is $97, but it is well worth it. I've also got some discount codes for 50% off and a free trial as well. So make sure you check out the links in the description there. And that is $97. If you do get the 50% off, it will be just under $50 for you. Actually put this in green so it's nice and easy. So what's the next thing you're going to need? Well, after you've actually gone ahead and used the product research tool to find your product, the next thing that you're actually going to need is to get samples from your supplier. Now, a lot of this stuff that I'm going to put in here, you won't find in many other videos. So make sure you keep listening. There are 9 points that I'm about to go through on this and 4 points in the optional section as well. And within the optional section, you can obviously go ahead and pick what you want. This is based off of my experience and what you actually need. So you do need to go ahead and get some samples from your supplier. So samples. And you need these samples so you can go and check your product. You can test your product. You can look at other products that the factory, the supplier is actually got. So you can start to be a little bit more creative in solving people's problems and giving them a much better, higher quality product. And that is an extremely valuable tip that you really shouldn't take lightly. So how much does it generally cost to get these samples? Well, it can cost anything from around the $20 mark to $50. And that is well worth the investment. So you make sure that your customers are actually getting a very, very good, high quality product that they can buy from you. And that's what you want. That's what you want the samples for. Now, the third thing you're going to need is design. Now, let me explain what I mean by design and what's included within design. Now, when you're looking at design, this could be the box packaging that your product actually goes in. This also includes the logo that you make for your product, for your brand. And it also includes the photography that you would need to make sure you get your product off on the right foot. Now, there's way too many people who spend so much time on the logo, and they spend way too much money thinking that the logo is going to sell the product. No, it's not. The samples, the product is going to sell the product. So make sure you focus on getting the product right and not so much effort on design. You do need to have a box package with relevant information on there. You might even not need a logo. Your logo could literally be the title of your company or product or whatever you decide to call the thing, whether it's carbon plates or biodegradable plates or spoons galore, whatever it is. Or baby clothes are us, whatever you want it to be. It can be really simple. You could just use this font that I've just put here and put it on the box. It's absolutely fine. You don't need to put in too much effort and too much time or money into this step. What I would say, however, is make sure you get good photography. So whether you know how to do that, that's great. If you need to send it off to somebody else, that's fine as well. But there are quick and easy solutions to get this stuff done, so you don't actually have to send your product off to other people. But I leave that within the course that I sell, and that's where I say all the valuable stuff actually is. That will speed up the process. It's what I do every single time I launch a product. So how much does all of this stuff cost when you're looking at design? Well, there'll be a lot of people who will be guessing the amount here, and I want you to actually try and give yourself a quick guess as to what you think all of this would cost. Well, it's a lot cheaper than you think, and I would spend no more than around the $50 mark. Yeah, that's all it costs. $50. You could go onto Fiverr.com and get somebody to do all of this stuff for you within the $50 mark. That's how cheap it can be. Now, the next part is the product. This is going to be your most expensive cost. You have to pay for your product. So how does this actually work? Well, with the product, it's entirely dependent on what product you go for. It's entirely dependent on your budget, and it's entirely dependent on how much you actually order. But I'm going to give you something that I used when I actually first started out, and it's something that I would strongly recommend when you first start out as a beginner. Now, if you've got a limited budget, you can adjust this. If you've got a higher budget, you've got more opportunity. That's the only difference. There is always a way to do this. And a lot of people will stop here and think, oh no, this is going to cost me too much money. Find a way. And I'm actually going to show you an example of doing that. But just as an average example of what you should be looking at. So let's say you paid $3 per unit for your product. Now, you have to order a number of units to sell on Amazon. So let's say, for example, you went ahead and you ordered around 250 units. So that would give you a grand total of $750. So it'll cost you $750 to get your product. Now, you can always adjust this based on what you are actually looking at for your budget. So you can lower this to $2, you can lower this to $1. However, it does limit the amount of products you can actually look at. You can lower the amount of product that you actually order. So instead of ordering 250, why not go ahead and order 200? Why not even just trial 100? So imagine you ordered a $3 product and you only ordered 100. That's only $300. That's how you go about starting and selling on Amazon when you don't have much money, or you have a little amount of money to actually spend. There are no excuses to not start this business. And even if you do fail, because that is an option, that does happen, even if you do fail on $300, it's only $300 that you spent on the product. It's fine, but you would have learned so much that the next batch that you go for, the next product that you actually go ahead with, you know that that's gonna be a higher chance of being a home run product for you. And if you actually do really well, you'll get 5 times your money back. You might get 10 times your money back, depending on how your profit margin actually looks. But for the product, you'll be looking at around, let's say, the $750 mark for this example. Now, the next one is a super important one. And if you miss this, this could be extremely detrimental to your business. So I strongly recommend that you go ahead and you do this. The next one is inspection. you need to make sure you inspect your company. Yeah, you need to make sure that you inspect your products so you know that they are up to scratch. So when you order your products, you want to send in an inspection company, an external inspection company, to go ahead and check your products and make sure that they are up to the standard that you looked at when you were looking at the sample stage. And now you can see how all of this is starting to fit together. You need to make sure that all of the products are just like you ordered or just like you wanted when you looked at it from the sample stage. And you also want to get them to check the design, the box, the packaging, and you want to make sure that all of that is correct for you. Because once it gets to Amazon's warehouse, there's not much you can do. You have a limited amount of options to go ahead and make any changes. This is the stage that you want to go ahead and do this. And the average cost of this is around the $240 mark. I hope this is clear to you. It's kind of looks a little bit messy from my side. But anyway, it's $240 and is well worth the investment. I'd strongly recommend that you go ahead and do that. And if you want a recommendation on the inspection company that I use, go ahead and look at the FBA Stars program. I've got tons of recommendations that I use every single day for all of these that I think would be absolutely useful and invaluable to you. Now, the next one that you probably know is shipping. So you need to make sure that you ship your products all the way from China to the USA or whatever country you might be sending it to Amazon FBA's warehouse. Now, how much does this cost? It's always dependent on the weight and the size of your product. Now, I'm going to use the same example as I used with this one when I did that same order. And when I actually shipped this product for $3 a unit, 250 units, that cost me $750. It cost me $400 to ship this product. Now, what does that actually include? Well, that actually includes a number of different things, including the bond, which I actually explain a lot of this shipping stuff in one of my videos called Alibaba to Amazon FBA. So make sure you go and check out that video to get more information about shipping, how it works, and how you can reduce your costs and get the best prices for you and your product. Now, it's not to say that the $400 won't go down, it won't go up. It's entirely dependent on how much you order. Now, remember when I said if you drop the price to $1 or you drop the amount that you order to 100 units, this will drop quite rapidly. So this could drop down to $200, it could drop down to $100, depending on the method that you use that I show in that video. Now, one of the things I actually forgot to mention that I'm going to put down over here that was meant to be under design is the barcode. That's one thing you will not be able to forget, because you cannot do anything without a barcode when you're sending your products over to Amazon FBA. And when you're actually doing the design part of your product or your packaging, you want to make sure that you include the barcode as well. But you can get the barcode at a super cheap price. I'll tell you which one I actually use. I usually use legalbarcodes.com. They are GS1 approved barcodes. If you don't know what that is and you want more information on what barcodes are and what you need to use, what UPC is, what EAN is, what GS1 is, let me know in the comment section below and I'll go ahead and make a video if there are enough comments to make that video. So how much does it actually cost to go ahead and get your barcode? It's really cheap. $5. $5 to go ahead and get your barcode. And you could probably get a deal if you buy 3, you could probably get it for $10 from legalbarcodes.com. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but it's just something that I use and I thought would be really useful for you to actually know. So what comes after the shipping? Well, it's the import tax. Import tax. This is something that everybody has to pay. People have to pay the import tax, the duties, once you send and ship anything into most countries. Especially if you're sending it into the USA or UK or any part of Europe, you will need to pay an import tax. How do you go about calculating what that import tax is? Well, it's actually based on the value of the product. So they will base your import tax as a percentage of the order of this product. So if you're spending $750, a percentage will be taken into account and that will calculate your import tax. How do you know what percentage your product is going to be charged at? Well, that's based on the product itself, and it's hard to actually say what it's going to be. Sometimes it can be 0 depending on the product. Usually if it's an evergreen type, disposable, compostable, earth-friendly type product, they're generally at 0%. If it's plastics, there's a bit of a duty on that, but I'm going to take an average of 10% of the value of this and call it $75 just for this specific example. So $75 for your import tax with your shipping. Now the last one, actually it's not really the last one, you will need some of these optional ones as well, so make sure you keep listening. But the last one, you cannot do anything without this, is the Amazon Seller Central account. And the Amazon Seller Central account actually costs $39.99, but let's just call it $40 to make it easy for us. So what's the total of this? Well, before we go ahead and do that, let me show you what the optional costs are, because it's really important that you understand what these optional costs are. Now, like I mentioned, you can go ahead and buy a course. It will help you to speed up the process and get to your product faster and sell on Amazon. You'll also be getting a person who has already sold on Amazon and has been successfully selling on Amazon. And hopefully whoever's selling the course is probably selling on Amazon as we speak, or as they're selling the course. And as I mentioned, I'm totally biased to my course because I love it. I put so much effort and time into it, and I know it gets results if you put in the time and the effort. Just to let you know, these courses that people sell are not scams. What they do require is hard work and effort on your part. You need to make sure that you're continuously looking at the program and the course and you're putting in the effort and the time. If you give up, which you may feel like doing at times, and I'm here to tell you the honest truth about this business, about any business, you will feel like quitting, you will feel like giving up. And that's if you're doing affiliate marketing, drop shipping, or any other online, but any business for that matter, you will always feel like that. But if you can push through that, you will be successful and the courses will get you there much faster. If you want to check out my one, it's at fbastars.com. I do have offers on at the moment, but I will be increasing the price. This is my official announcement that I'm going to be increasing the price of that program. So if you do want to go ahead and get that, make sure you go ahead and get it now. It's going to be increasing within the next few weeks as soon as the website is done. Now, the next thing that you need is PPC. Now, if you don't know what PPC is, this is actually an optional thing that you can do. I strongly would recommend that it's mandatory that you do this. But PPC stands for pay-per-click. It's the marketing that you do on Amazon to sell your product, to make sure that it gets in front of more people so more people can see how valuable your product actually is and they go ahead and purchase that product. Now, there is a profitable way of doing this and there is a way of doing this where you actually start losing money by doing this. You need to make sure you do the right method. But as a minimum, when you first start out selling on Amazon and you've got a limited budget, I'd recommend that you spend $10 a day on this campaign. So on your marketing, I'd recommend that you start off with $10 a day, make that profitable. If you can, stretch to $20 a day. Now, if you want a more aggressive approach, you can go ahead and do a more aggressive approach. You'll have multiple campaigns running at the same time with a lot more money actually put in, and it will get your product ranked super quick. And I've done that myself and got products ranked within 5 days. Now, if you want more videos like that, please let me know in the comment section below and I will go ahead and look at making some videos just like that for you. Now, the next thing that you can do is trademark. Now, a lot of people don't go ahead and do this, and actually I would recommend against it. There is a lot of people who go ahead and do this for no reason whatsoever. Why should you go ahead and get a trademark on your product if you don't know your product is actually selling and making money? So I would strongly recommend, as soon as your product takes off and starts doing really well, then you go ahead and look at the trademark. Now, how much does trademark actually cost? Well, it costs around the $350 mark to get it. And it can take up to, I think it's 3 to 6 months to actually get your trademark done. Now, why would somebody want to go ahead and get a trademark? Is to actually protect your business, and so you could get a branded listing on Amazon so that no hijackers can come and take over that listing. It is a very good way to go, but when you're first starting out, it is very unlikely that hijackers are actually going to come and take over your listing. Now, don't get scared by that. It is a very simple thing to overcome with just a few simple emails and tactics. And again, if you want more videos like that, let me know and I'll make those videos. Now, the fourth optional thing is giveaways. Now, there are a lot of people and a lot of talk about whether you should do giveaways or not. Well, let me do the calculation for you and let me show you whether it's actually worth doing giveaways or not. So let's say, for example, your product is selling for $30, Amazon takes around $10, and your profit is $10 a unit. That means that you're already spending on 10 for the product, 10 to sell on Amazon for the actual fees and storage, etc. And then 10 of your profit is actually gone because you're selling it for $30 on Amazon. Now, if you're giving away these products for $30, that means $30 goes instantly when you give away one product. Now, in order to actually do giveaways effectively, you have to give away a decent amount. Now, the minimum that you're probably going to need to give away is a lot more than what I'm about to say, but I'm just going to give you a realistic example of if you gave this away over a 2 to 3 day period. Let's say you gave away 10 over 2 to 3 days. That means you are losing $300 in those 3 days. Now, if you had to give away 100, you would lose $3,000. Why do people actually do giveaways? Well, it's because it helps to get ranking, because Amazon's algorithm is based on sales velocity. So the more sales that you have through giveaways or whatever, the higher your product will start to get ranked and the quicker that actually gets done. But I strongly recommend that you do not go ahead and do this. Why? Because that $300 could be spent on PPC. I'd rather spend the money on PPC and optimizing the PPC instead of giving everything away. So it's all done organically. And not to mention, this giveaway technique is a black hat technique. It is actually against Amazon's terms to actually go ahead and do giveaways in order to get your product ranked. Now, there are other ways to do giveaways that are actually, let's call it legal by Amazon, but you'd have to use Amazon services to do that. But I found them not to be massively effective. I would rather invest this $30 into the PPC. So instead of $10 a day, why don't you do $20 a day to boost your sales? Now, how much does all of this actually add up to? Well, remember, you're going to need the product research program. You're going to need to order your samples. You're going to need the design as well, which includes your logo, your photos, and the packaging as well. You're going to need to order your product, which in this example, we're going to say $750. You're also going to need an inspection to make sure your products are up to scratch before they get shipped out. And then you're also going to need shipping, which is at $400. You're also going to need the barcode, which you should implement within the design section, which is only going to cost you $5. You're also going to need to pay for the import tax, which we're estimating on this specific product at $75, which is 10% of the product that we're paying for. And you also need to pay for the Amazon Seller Central account. So how much does all of this add up to? Well, I've done a little bit of rounding up, so I've rounded up some of these numbers, and it actually comes to $1,710. So I hope you can see that. If you can't see that, it's $1,710. That's how much it's going to cost you to start selling on Amazon with this example. Now remember, if you drop this by from 250 units to 100 units, you're only spending 300. So you could take off 300 there from that. Now remember, if you're going to do that, your shipping will drop. Let's say it drops down to another $200. Then this will also drop another $200. So you're going to be spending a lot less if you order less amounts of product or you order a cheaper product to actually sell on Amazon. But generally, if I was to give you advice and to recommend what you should be spending or what you should actually have out when you first start out on Amazon, is anything from the $2,000 mark to around the $3,000 mark when you first start out. However, saying that, the only thing that you need to buy first of all, I'd strongly recommend, is the course and the product research platform to get you started. The other thing that you're going to need after that is samples. Now remember, you don't need to pay all of this $1,710 out up front. The first thing you need to pay for is about $100 for a product research course. And if you get the discount or the free trial, you can get it for free and with the discount, with the links in the description as well. And if you go ahead and get the course, which is on discount at the moment on my website, fbastars.com, that's also going to give you a heavy discount on there as well. So there's a small amount of investment up front, and then later as you go along, you will pay for these as you go along. So it may take 1 month, it may take 3 months, or it might take 6 months to actually launch your product. So I would strongly recommend that you get started on a course and you get started on getting the product research program, the tool, the software that you actually need to find products. Now, if you are watching this video, it does mean that you've actually come here and you found me for a specific reason. You want to make some sort of change within your life or your lifestyle. You want to change it for a better future for you, and you wanted to educate yourself. Now take that to the next level and actually start taking action. It's great you want to learn, but now's the time to actually get going and start taking action with this. Because like I said, it could take up to 3 months or 4 months or 5 months before you actually launch your product. If you don't get started today, it will be another month that has passed. It'll be another month that has passed. And then you need to wait another 6 months to actually get your product launched, or 3 months, or whatever it might be. So the sooner you actually get started on the product research, the better it will be for you, the better you will get at finding products as well. Now, if you want videos on product research, make sure you go check out the channel. There's tons of video and information on product research. I've also got a course on product research as well, so make sure you go ahead and check that out. Now, if you're too scared and you don't want to take any action just yet, make sure you go ahead and grab your free ebook. I'm going to put the link in the description for you as well, so you can go ahead and grab that. That will show you how you can go about finding products fast. Now, hopefully that video was useful to you. Make sure you hit the like button so I know that you liked it and I continue to make more videos just like this one. And if you want to see more videos like this one, make sure you hit the subscribe button and click on the bell icon so you get notifications when I actually release new videos. So I will see you in the next video.